What is up, party people? We are back.
After a while.
It has been so long. We have a location change. Things are a little different. We don't have Braven here. He's not dead. He is still up. Yet.
The inevitability of us all.
Yeah, it's true. He could. I mean, he could. Right. Braven, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. He cannot be here. He
date night.
Date night. Yeah, date night tonight. So you know what? Dude, James sits next to me and he gets crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It gets really freaky really quickly. I would.
Mm.
Compassion. You know what? You can't spell compassion without passion, baby. You know what I'm saying? All right. Anyways, the compassionate one over here, James. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty all right.
We had a stressful day.
Very, very stressful day.
For things, it's gonna sound like it's taking off. By the way, just describe. We're talking about my MacBook. It's when we record on this, it sounds like a jet is just like taking off.
PS4 levels of
LaGuardia or whatever. But yeah, PS5. Yeah, whenever you run like Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
PS4 whenever you just turned it on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had a stressful one today, but we got it all figured out.
We're here, we're talking. That's what's important.
And they can hear us talking. It's great.
It's great.
Someone else that's gonna be talking during this podcast, probably I would think, is the bearded pog champ over there.
Actually,
Justice.
that's a little. I'm actually not going to talk for this whole podcast.
I'm actually gonna go. I'm actually gonna leave right now.
No, but yeah,
around. How's it going?
going pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I was also running around, trying to find stuff, but
yeah, we were all running around except for Canaan. OG bearded pog champ over there. Night Rain. He was just texting the Discord like we were running around with our heads cut off basically trying to find stuff, and Canaan's just in there like, yo, so I figured out how to get to this boss in Night Rain. It's pretty sick, actually. And no one's responding. No one's responding to him.
If I would have known, I would have helped.
And in all fairness, he didn't know.
He didn't know. But it was so. I was driving. I was like, shut up. I want to play so bad, but I can't.
Yeah, my day's been pretty good.
Yeah. Your day was all right, I would say.
Yeah.
Pretty laid back, relaxing.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, this is Hog Rider Gaming. It's been so long that I thought I'd remind y'all of what it is. It's just a few guys coming around talking about video games, anything there is about it. We talk about reviewing them. We talk about new ones that are coming out. We're talking about Summer Game Fest next week.
What?
Yeah, woo, woo. It's really fun stuff. But yeah, so today we usually have like one topic a show, and today the topic is Doom.
There
There it is. Yeah, the Dark Ages. Yes. The third one in the new trilogy. The new stuff.
Revamped trilogy.
Yeah, revamped, reimagined Doom series done by ID Software and published by Bethesda. Yeah, it came out. I think the Metacritic last time I checked was like an 85. Which is usually pretty standard for these kind of games. They usually sit around the 85 to 90 range, and the highest one is Eternal, is like 89 or something like that. But yeah, we have all played it. Not all of us have beaten it, but we have all played I would say a significant amount of time in it.
Very substantial.
Yeah, substantial.
I'll probably beat it tonight. I just got so close, and then I was like, we got to leave.
Well, let me give you some background here, all right? I've beaten it. James has beaten it after just bulldozing through it. Yeah. You're on chapter 4 yesterday, and then you finished it yesterday. There's 22 chapters, by the way. Yeah, Ethan, 18 hours? Is that what you
19.
said? 19?
Yeah.
Canaan, 7 to 8, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Canon's been on Marvel Rivals every day.
He's been trying to grind out the new season.
There is a new season. Ultron's out.
He's not great.
But you know what? Night Rain's out too.
So that takes precedent.
Fortunately.
I realized like 3 hours before the update came out that I hadn't got the Wolverine skin. Patch skin. I did not realize that.
Bro.
And I was sitting there playing.
You gotta get that.
Game. I was like, let me check and make sure I did all my challenges. I got there like I had like 10 challenges I had to do in like 3 hours. Dude, that was the hardest I've sweat.
The Marvel Rivals grind is legit. Maybe not for me. Maybe not for Ethan.
I stay away from that game as
But
much
Chad's
as
in
possible.
the back over there. Chad, he grinds on it too.
Mm.
You know,
Yep.
grinding all up on that thing.
Whoa.
Sorry, what? Anyways, we're talking about Doom today. I already gave you the breakdown, everything about it. Now let's talk about what we thought about it. Now I'm gonna go to Ethan first. What did you think about Doom: The Dark Ages?
It's basically what I think about every Doom. I get in there and I'm just like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like, just, I mean, with Doom, there's usually, you get a bunch of the same. Like, you just get really cool freaking taking out demons and doing really cool stuff. But I think the story was pretty good. But, yeah, overall, I really liked it. And I probably will like it more when I finish it tonight.
Speaking of people who have finished it. James.
That being said, I'm kind of in a mixed area. I had some opinions about it. I don't. We'll get more into that in a few, but if it's a Doom game, and if you like the previous, 2016 Doom or Eternal, and you're open to change, this game's gonna be awesome.
Okay. All right. Canaan, the person who has played the least amount. What do you feel?
Surprising, because I like Doom normally.
Yeah.
Thing is, pairing don't have a place in Doom.
The parry.
That's what I have a problem with.
Okay.
And the music. Mick Gordon is just such.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mick Gordon is missed.
Yes.
I would say. I wouldn't say the music's bad though.
No.
I'd say
not
it's
as
serviceable. There's not like a lot. There's one I like like needle drop, and it's like when he comes up with the mech, and he says, I think he says run in that same.
That
scene.
Yeah.
one is good.
That one was
That one is
sick.
good.
That was like the only one where I was like, wow, actually that felt like Mick Gordon again. Like I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, that one actually felt like Eternal or 2016. Besides that, I do agree the music was kind of,
It was lackluster.
I would say lackluster. Yeah, it did its job. It was serviceable enough to get me through the game, but it's not like Eternal or Doom 2016 where I'm like sitting here like headbanging to whatever track is playing when I'm just killing so many demons, and I'm not even having a care in the world because the best guitar solo is happening as I'm, ravaging through this army quite
And-
quickly. Yeah.
I think part of that comes from me being a metalhead. Like
Yeah.
I know it can be better, and I want it to, but it's just like it just doesn't quite hit right for me. That's
Yeah, which Mick Gordon had like a really unique style. And, like coming into this, it's more of like there's more aspects of like techno, let's say.
which I hate.
Yeah. Weren't there like synths and stuff like kind of randomly?
Yeah.
Well, I think it kind of played into, like, in my mind at least, it played into more of the enemies were a little bit more like technologically, which is weird because it's the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there was like tech demons.
True.
I don't know.
This game as much as say it might have fit more into like Eternal or in 2016, where you expect more tech to be involved.
I think Eternal that would have fit.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
in terms of those other games, like they had plenty of tech aspect to them that have that techno bits in the music to really fall back on. But in this, like your expectation of Dark Ages, it just
Throw a Gregorian chant in there.
Yeah, for real.
that was
That would have been.
dude, insane.
Imagine some heavy metal growls with a Gregorian chant type. Oh, that would.
Oh,
Anyway,
that would be cool. Mick Gordon would have done that. I'm just kidding. I don't know what Mick Gordon would have
No,
done.
I think he actually might have done that in Eternal.
I have. I don't really remember. Even though I just played Eternal like a month ago.
Mm.
But I've played the most out of all of us. I have 27 hours in this game. I loved the exploration for some reason. I loved it way more than Eternal. I think one of the big problems I had with Eternal was I liked the verticality of the level design, but I didn't love the execution of how to enjoy that, if that makes sense. Like the platforming in that game was either like worked maybe 70% of the time. And frustrating because then they'd spawn you some other place that's like not really even close. In this one, I think it's toned back a little bit. I'm not crazy about them showing where the secrets are on the map. That one was kind of weird, but it did help me be like, oh, there's a secret there. I want to go see what that is, or I want to go like and actually like want to explore these like kind of semi-open zone levels and stuff. But yeah, that's why I have so many hours in it. I was just like perusing around and just finding like all these toys and like all this other stuff. How I'd say about the game, I think this game is as good as any Doom game that has come out from ID over the past several years. I think every single one of them has its own thing that makes it enjoyable. I'm on the same wavelength of there was points in the combat where I was like, oh, but then towards the end, when you really start to get the parry down and get these shield runes and get the weapons where you can capitalize off parries that help you more,
And
you just start
you get the
ripping through people.
health and armor is
Yeah.
crazy too.
Yeah.
I'm getting to that point. And
Yeah, where you're just like, parry, it gives you armor. You shoot him with a shotgun, and then you hit him with a shield, and that gives you more armor, and you're just like constantly getting stuff while also getting hit at the same time because there's just a million things happening around you at the same time. But yeah, I mean, the combat stuff's great, but
I was saying this yesterday too. Like some of the upgrades I'm loving right now because like I upgraded the cycler, the energy rifle thing, to where if somebody gets charged up, they'll actually shock the person next to them when they die.
Yeah, I love that one.
And with the little like with the smaller demons, and there are like 20 of them out there, and it's just
yeah.
and I'm like just like going through them in like 20 seconds. It's so much fun.
I don't think the story's anything spectacular. It never really is.
Not for Doom.
That's never something I'm like, let me look for that. And I think at some points this game tries too hard to cater to the story.
Yeah,
I'm like, no one plays this game for that. You don't have to show me a billion cutscenes.
Just
You don't
put me out there.
just put me out there. Give me a gun. Let me just kill everything.
Although in Doom, I do feel like there is a good space for it, but in terms of like really deep story cutscenes, I think
Yeah.
they just want the really insane looking shots where Doom guy is like ripping through like
Exactly.
some massive demon.
Yeah.
Just something
Exactly.
really, really cool. I mean, although this does apply a lot to the backstory of Doom, I've noticed like there are aspects that tie into Eternal that you get in those games, but it's like for most people who want to enjoy Doom games, rip and tear done.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really sympathizing with this
Speaking
character.
of-
Yeah. Oh, both of y'all.
No executions. Like
Oh, glory kills.
creative execution.
Yeah.
No glory kills.
Very rarely you get one.
It's a shame, and I don't.
Yeah.
I did have one today where he just took his like
Saw it.
shield and just saw
Yeah,
somebody in
that's
it.
pretty cool.
I was like,
Which, to be
There's-
fair, all the executions to get those specializations, you have to be
Yeah.
which is, I feel, is a big pain point for me because
Mhm.
it takes away a lot of more impressive scenes that most people were doing. Because in Eternal, you were ripping and tearing through every enemy,
Mhm.
because it was part of the gameplay. Now this, it's more or less just an added bonus, which is all right, but you have to go out of your way in a lot of situations.
I got two things. One, my favorite glory kill of all time is when he smacks the demon's head down
yeah.
into him. I was like,
Is that Eternal?
Dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
That was a,
past that. Speaking of how it looks, though, you said something about it's like,
Great.
first of all, that's one like part that I'm just head over heels about this game is like you look around and it's especially where I'm at, where you're like down in the like the demon world or whatever. Like there's parts where you have to swim through that water or whatever,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
look and you just see like all these creatures moving,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Mhm.
it's just beautiful.
When you get the mission 20, the start to that mission looks so good. I really wish a lot of that energy from that one sequence from mission 19 to 20, I really wish the rest of the game would have kept it.
Mm.
But personal preference. But otherwise, visually, the creative design for this game is top
Oh
notch.
yeah,
Like,
I think that's
Forget about
always been something. Like even Eternal, I think Eternal's still the best looking one in my opinion when it comes to like art design and stuff like that. I do think the character design in this one was sick.
oh,
Especially
Like,
for Doom
yeah.
guy.
For Doom guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, the cape.
Kate, sorry,
Yes.
Kate.
That cape
Oh,
looks so
It's
good.
the first time you've seen it a billion times. You've seen the trailer for this game. but when you see it in the game, you're
When
like,
he's like,
oh yeah, man, this is great. And the sound design's great as well. Like the jump, when you jump and you just you can just jump like not even like from a high distance.
it's
You
just
just
like,
jump and it's just like the biggest boom you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah,
You just sprint jump.
was that in other games, or is that
I
just
don't
this
think
game?
So.
I think it's just.
Heck
Definitely the jump attack, like when you land.
Heck yeah.
That's
Sprinting as
definitely
well.
just this one.
Sprinting is new to this game.
Yeah, it's sprinting as well.
yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I did find one moment. I don't know if I actually heard it or not, but in one of the later boss fights, I heard a bubble sound effect, like it popping during an execution of one of the later bosses, like while you're ripping their head off. And I was like, like I just burst out laughing. I was so focused on just like murdering this.
Was this the all nighter?
Yeah, like this was like 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay. It's like 4:30 a.m. You're just like hearing stuff.
Now I'm like executing this boss, and I'm like, all right, this mission's done. And I'm like, ooh.
That's really funny. I didn't get that.
And again,
don't
I
think.
don't know if that was like in game or just something happened, but it actually is in the game. That's hilarious.
So we've played enough to know the answer to this. I want to ask. There's some new gameplay elements added in this one. Usually, you're Doom guy, you're running around, just shooting things. You got the gun in this game where it like crushes skulls and like shoots it out. Really dope. Instead of the BFG, it's the BFC in this game.
It's the ballistic fire crossbow or something like that.
That's really sick. I think you got. I don't know if you got
Ballistic
there.
force crossbow.
I don't know if you got the BFC.
That's not what that stands for.
That's what I was like. I was like, what is this? But they added 2 new features this time.
Yes.
We got this like mech mode basically, and then you fly around in like this demon flyer thing. It's like you're flying. It's like you're flying one of those things from Avatar, from the Blue People movie. You know, the things that like Sully gets on, where he has to.
I said it. It kind of feels like How to Train Your Dragon.
A
'Cause
little.
You're like.
I actually heard one of my buddies say it kind of makes similar to the gummy ships in Kingdom Hearts.
The firing system.
Oh,
definitely.
yes.
Yes. When you're hitting stuff and when you're shooting, it is very similar to the gummy ship system in
And
Kingdom
I
Hearts.
can't remember which game in specific, but the way you interact with other things as the dragon, he said it looked especially like one back.
Well, especially when you're like locking onto him and it like moves you.
Yeah, but definitely those
Mm-hmm. That's a gummy ship right there.
So, with those new gameplay aspects, I want to ask. I want to go to start to Canaan first. How'd you feel?
I thought they'd be better. I'm gonna be honest, especially the mech. The mech just feels like. I mean, yeah, you've got this big city, whatever, but it just feels like normal Doom guy punching them. I'm like, I want to feel like the slow punch of a mech, and like to really, really feel that force behind it. You don't really feel that in the game because it's just fast paced. Yes, I get that's part of the Doom game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Being an animatic, I feel like it needs to be a bit more oomph to it.
Yeah.
You know.
I get that.
And the dragon, and it was cool. It's obviously cool, but there were some parts of it in it. I was just like, I was really confused about why we're doing it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And I will say this: you've played a short amount of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't evolve at all, in my opinion. I think that's like.
see, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, like every time one of those sequences came up, I was like, all right, I guess I have to do this for a chapter. Like it really. I know I'm kind of interjecting here on your thoughts, but like, I know you haven't played as much, but like that's the frustrating part. Is like at the beginning, it feels like a little
Just new.
So it's like. It's kind of raw and just like, all right, I'm just punching stuff and shooting stuff with the dragon. Maybe when I get later in the game, kind of like with Doom Guy, where you're like, all right, I'm just kind of walking around shooting stuff, and then at the end of this game, you're like throwing your shield, you're like parrying, you're like doing all this stuff that you've learned throughout. The combat evolves as you play.
Yeah.
This combat doesn't really do anything. Yeah. It doesn't really get easier. It doesn't really evolve. It just kind of stays the same. You fight more things maybe, but.
And that's what I had a problem with. Like in other games like Eternal and 2016, it was like different enemies use different. You can use different guns for. Basically, when I was finding in this game, the most effective thing was the super shotgun.
Yeah.
That's literally all I used the whole time, and I was getting bored because it's the only thing that worked against all these things.
Before we get onto the weapon wheel, because I know you have thoughts about that, I am going to get back around with this, with this whole mech and dragon thing. Ethan, mech and dragon, your thing or not your thing?
I'm gonna split them up.
Okay.
Mech, I'm not the biggest fan of, which you're not in it that much.
Yeah.
But I do like the dragon. I do get what you're saying. I wish like what they would have done with the dragon is, and maybe even with the mech, is like as you go along, maybe not even change up that much, but like add more enemies in or something.
Yeah.
They were so spaced out that you just took on one enemy at a time. It's like, let me fly around and dodge stuff.
When they
from
had to
everybody.
fly after the space, like the other ships,
I do
was
like that.
Okay,
'Cause
give
you're like,
me like one. I'm flying all around. Give me like one, and then give me like another one that like splits off, and I can like go fight that one or something.
Also-
once, and then the rest of the time it's like just one.
Also,
rest
though,
of
the
I
half
wish
of
some of
those.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wish. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
we're back. It's all right. We're still taking our time a little bit. So
I wish some of those ships would have shot back too. It would have been fun to
Mhm.
actually
yeah, that
fight
too.
against them.
Yeah, you're not fighting them. You're just like
Well,
like
you're not
dog
following
fights
And I
them.
was-
Yeah, it would have been.
I was gonna say, and half the time you didn't even have to chase the ship; it was just flying around. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
until you like, and then
There
half
were
the time
some
it's just
that-
like a story beat where it's like,
Yeah,
all right,
but-
and lead you to this other location.
yeah,
you have to fight this,
exactly.
like,
Tentacle.
eye sack thing. I don't even know what it was. It just shoots like one laser at a time. You just dodge it, and you do like the perfect dodge or whatever, and then shoot. It's just the same thing over
Yeah.
and over and over
But-
again.
The eye of
I do like flying around and stuff.
Flying around,
It's
is fun.
whatever.
Yeah,
But past that,
especially when you are like flying through like all this stuff. You like,
Yeah.
like in the tunnel and you're like falling through the tunnel.
yeah,
Even though I feel like it's not like too difficult.
no,
Yeah,
it's not.
James, how do you feel about the mech and dragon? Is it a dragon? Am I saying that
I
right?
think it's they call it a
Sort of,
dragon.
yeah.
It's, I mean, although it don't look like a dragon,
It don't look like a dragon, but it'd be a dragon.
it's some kind of
Talk like dragon,
fly like
fly like dragon.
dragon.
I guess it is a dragon.
Yep.
Yep.
Technically, it don't have wings though. Anyway,
Aesthetic? Would
Toothless doesn't have.
I
Anyway,
got-
if you wanted to be called a dragon,
Whatever you want to be called. Kind of ruins the pacing of the game.
It does. it
Yeah.
does.
yeah, it breaks it up.
And at least for the mech, I can say more than the dragon. I really think they would have benefited more from like an interactive cutscene with a more cinematic and pretty appearance to them. To have those sequences have more weight to them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, that's you do have those moments where it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of just implemented it just for like rehearsal more than anything, just to explain it together.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the dragon though, I do say I did enjoy more.
I
But
agree with that.
I do agree in the aspect that considering there's like two flight modes where you have that fly really fast and you have the hovering.
Yeah.
mode, I really wish they added more enemies. Just more of a blockade, so you had to utilize more of the dragon's kit.
Yeah.
More often.
I mean, what kit at the same time?
You have
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have this, and then you have dodging a.
Yeah. Flying fast. Yeah.
Things like that.
Hey,
Or-
some of the cool parts in
or
the
a
mech
laser.
where they were like, is when they were like, "Here's this freaking weapon drop, and you get this like huge Gatling gun to shoot." And that was fun for like a couple minutes, and then they keep doing it, and you're like,
Yeah,
"Oh man, give me like a different gun. Give me like something you want to do
Give me
big."
a BFG for this?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Like, give me like this huge demon somewhere. I'm like, "Oh my god, how am I gonna beat that thing?" And then, boom, weapon drop comes in. You're like,
I'm-
"Oh, what is this?" And you get out,
Also-
it's a BFG for the mech. That would have been so
That
sick.
would have been awesome.
I wanted, which Canaan, you didn't quite get this far. The what is it, the old one, the ancient one, is basically Cthulhu.
Oh yes.
why can't we fight that with the mech? That would have been so cool.
Yeah, like I thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah, and I was like,
You know?
I don't think it would have been as enjoyable in the mech. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I personally
Understanding what the
I
mech
think
is
it would've been
stuff is
really
now,
cool
but
if later on they added a new feature, buck wild. I thought it'd been really cool.
At all? That's off. Yeah, it is. Oh. This might have been off the whole time. Okay.
you must have nudged it.
You must accidentally turned it off.
It was like that the whole time. I
You must have just pushed it far enough down. Who knows?
Well, if y'all couldn't hear James that whole time, that's really rough.
That
Okay, well,
I think you did push it down because we had it on before you came in.
maybe.
maybe I did.
Hmm.
We'll see.
Hey, yeah.
Hey,
Tell me in the comments if you could hear it.
it isn't Hog Rider
Absolutely.
Radio without a
You're
couple.
dropping some wisdom bombs over here too. That's
It isn't Hog Rider Radio without a little bit of.
without a little bit of audio.
Yep.
Mishap.
Yep. Gotta happen.
Anyway,
Basically, James likes the game a little.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing. It's like there's so many good things, and then there's a lot of bad things where it's like, come on, he could have.
One of the negatives you had, weapon wheel. Why don't you go into that a little bit?
Dude,
I
don't
also do the same way.
get me started because, and this might be different for people on console, but on PC, where it locks down all of your movement,
It does the
all
same
of
thing.
your defensive options, you just get shot while you're picking a weapon, and even then, it don't feel the greatest. And at one point, I switched my keybinds to try and cycle through my weapons because I wanted to get the most out of my weapons, but the weapon wheel wasn't giving it to me.
Mhm.
And I realized switching to that, the guns are pretty much interchangeable with each other in the sense that you could pretty much stick to one set of guns the entire game.
Like you just,
Once
like
they're
you said,
upgraded.
yeah.
Yeah,
Super
and
I use a super shotgun the whole game.
Yeah.
I've
'cause, like-
been using the cycler almost the whole
yeah,
game.
like once I hit the halfway point, I did nothing but use the base combat shotgun, super shotgun, and then if I absolutely had to, if I ran out of ammo, I'd use something else that hit
I use
hard.
that plasma rifle.
I used the impaler because
Oh,
the headshot
yeah.
damage and
Headshot.
I was gonna
the
say
slowdown
Impaler.
time,
Yeah.
you just crank damage out.
I also been
and-
using the pulverizer,
Mm-hmm.
Is that the
the skull,
skulls?
and
Mm-hmm.
dope design. Really that
Can we
useful,
talk about how lackluster the bazooka was.
I never
Yeah.
used it.
bro. It's like hitting them with like a
It's like
feather.
hitting
I'm like,
I love
a
how I'm
stun
like
gun.
kind of
It's like-
crapping on this game right now too. I love this game. I think
I know. I
Like,
think the game was
cool,
great.
but it's like
There's
there-
some
there's
issues
a
with
lot
it.
there's a lot to be desired though. Like it don't take away because it is still a single player experience and you can play it however you want.
Yeah.
But at least when you're trying to utilize everything that you have in the game, it's like there's a lot to be desired.
Kind of going back to like, you can't do anything defensively when you're on the weapon wheel screen,
Mm-hmm.
and that's so weird because this Doom guy is very like tank defense focused. He has the shield, and he has the shield. He's super heavy. He's walking around and just like doom, doom, doom. Like
Mhm.
he is a tank. And in Doom Eternal, you're like zipping, zapping all over the place, and you're like double jumping, and you're doing all this stuff. So in Doom Eternal, where you would switch weapons, it would make more sense for the game to slow down a little bit because you have so much time to move out of the way because you're so fast. In
Yeah.
this, it was like you had no time to put your shield up because you're so slow. So by the time you like get done choosing the weapon, you get hit with like a billion things, and you're dead.
And then you have to play
HP.
catch up.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to run around forever trying to find HP and hitting people with your shield to get shield and stuff like that. That's where I feel like, and maybe they'll fix this later. I don't know, but like when you switch on the weapon, that's why I never switch weapons. Is because I was like, if I switch weapons right now, I'm gonna get shot by this
Yeah.
thing like at least 5 times before I'm able to do
Mm.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That was
the
my
I've
frustrating
been
thing.
switching. I mean, I guess it's mainly because I've been trying to. When I'm doing it, I'm running like in somewhere where there's people aren't that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I've been switching weapons pretty easily, but also it's like I said, I'm dodging people while I'm doing it. So
also that big scorpion looking enemy
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that,
you hate those.
that has that shoot like the big arc of stuff out.
Yeah,
They decided to make that from a boss into a regular enemy.
that's the Doom. That's the Doom loop right
Yeah.
there, man. You fight the thing like the Komodo champions, another one in this game that you fight.
That
once, and
one
you're
is fun to
he
fight.
is fun, but you
He
fight him
is.
once and you're like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. And then they're like, here's another one. I'm
You
like,
know-
oh my god.
And
You
then
know
it's
who has-
like you gotta fight multiple things,
yeah.
and then it just compounds the issue of the weapon wheel. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Because you know who has been giving me the most grief right now is those witches that like fly up in the air and
Mhm.
shoot the skulls at you. I'm like,
Those
Yeah.
are awful, but
but
they're
no,
annoying.
there's an
They're very-
upgrade to them that'll shield them. That's the worst.
yeah, hmm
I never reached that, so.
Yeah, that was later on. It sucks.
yeah. And at a certain point, it's like
Oh wait, are you talking about the code thing?
No.
They turn like blue or whatever.
I don't think you're far enough to know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that didn't
that's
happen
what-
till you go like into hell, or is it hell or whatever?
Somewhere I didn't.
Yeah,
I
it's-
did not
it's
care
somewhere.
where we went. I was like,
No.
let's
Yeah, it-
drop me somewhere and
yeah,
I'll shoot
it's
stuff.
a new enemy. It's a new enemy.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Probably
Um,
not. He probably's not gonna play it.
He's got Rivals
Like
of
a
Night
night.
Ring to play now. He's booked.
Yeah,
he's
he-
booked for the next month.
yeah.
Until Death Stranding 2 comes out, he's not touching another game.
Mhm.
You right?
But yeah, but like the rest of the kit, it's like you could pretty much just play the whole game with your shield and your melee, and that you
Yeah.
could fight any enemy and kill them with just those two things by stun locking every enemy. If you absolutely wanted to, you could totally just do that.
The biggest difference in the weapon wheel is the BFC, and that's just
Yeah.
literally a nuke because you're just sending it in there.
I use that
Mhm.
sometimes, but and it's not even the weapon wheel, is it? It's, you
No,
press one
it's
button.
press
a
triangle.
specialized weapon.
Yeah, I mean, you find it. It's like the BFG and any other Doom.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
that one is just, they group up and you just kind of take them all on at the
Yeah,
same
if I'm
time.
like not feeling the combat right now, I'm like, you know what?
That's when I was trying to speed run. I'm like, all right, I'm not dealing with you right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Canaan, you had something to say. It looked like.
What was I gonna say?
Oh man. I also had something to say, and then it just completely went away just now. Oh,
Poof.
the weapon wheel. The weapon wheel. Not a fan. Obviously, I have issues with it. I love the shotgun when I used it. The
Mhm.
shotgun's fun,
Yep.
especially. And I think the gameplay loop takes a little bit to get used to, and the getting in the flow state, because that's what Doom's all about. Is getting in the flow state of things. You're pressing also. I want to see my hands at the end game of Doom games, and I
yeah.
just want to have a camera on it just to see like the things I'm doing on that controller, because even at the end of this game, where the gameplay I think is a little dumbed down from Doom Eternal, I wouldn't say a little, I think it's a lot. The parry window, while it is very forgiving,
Yeah.
is still fun for me because I like the sound design and it still
Yeah,
sounds
it's like,
freaking awesome whenever you do it. And
Yeah.
so when you're at the end of the game and there's the final boss you fight, every move parry. You're just like, and while that can feel like, oh my god, I'm just sitting here pressing the same button over and over and over
Yeah.
again. The sound design worked on me enough for me where I was like, oh, I'm really liking this. I'm like parrying and I'll throw my shield and it'll like knock armor off and then I'll shoot him with my shotgun. And I'm doing all sorts of stuff. It's not as cool as the meat hook in Doom Eternal where I'm just like
Yeah.
constantly going around slow motion, bam, shooting him in the head. Like, that was super fun.
Yep.
But like, I think the gameplay loop really grew on me as like you earn the different shield runes, so that way when I parry, I get this like shield, this like shoulder gun that's like starts shooting.
Yeah,
all the
mine-
mobs and
Yeah.
stuff
mine
all the way around.
It's, lightning strike comes in and
Yeah, like stuff like that. That's where I start to get the gameplay a little bit more, and that doesn't happen until the last half of the game. in my opinion, where you
Yeah,
really
that's
start to enjoy it more.
I'd even say like close to the last quarter, because if you're not trying to collect everything and not upgrading
Yeah.
everything, you know,
and that might have
to
been
a
what
good
was
degree.
happening with me because I was trying to go around everywhere. I was like, "Ooh, Ruby's
Mhm.
here. I'm gonna go get that because I can upgrade this." And then I think I just got really into the upgrading stuff, like more than I have in any Doom game. I feel like Doom Eternal, I had like 20-ish hours in. This
Mhm.
one I have the most hours in. I feel it might be the longest. I'm not sure, but that for me to do that and like be like, oh, I want to explore. I'm usually not like that. I'm usually like, I kind of
Yeah.
want to streamline this. If I run into an area on accident, I'll do it. But like, you know me, I hate side missions. I'm like, get that stuff out of here. I want to do the main stuff. But like in this one, I don't know what it was. I was just like, maybe it's the map. Maybe it's the enemies I'm fighting. I kind of like the enemies. Like when there's the shield, there's all the guys lined up with the shield.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
there's
just
one
like-
that's
Oh
lit up
no,
orange.
those
Oh my
are so
gosh.
Oh
satisfying.
my
Just-
God. When one's
I
lit up
did like
orange, I'm
that.
like,
I
oh
did
yeah,
like
taste
that.
this. And I'm just
Yeah.
My-
look at 'em and bam,
my
it's so
favorite thing to
fun.
do is like I can see a couple of them out there, and I'm at a higher up level, and I'll jump and then I'll rear back with it, and it slows down as it. And then I'm like,
assemble.
and then I'm just like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And that's where there are still moments of this where like, yeah, like we talked about earlier, when the mech comes up, and he says run. Like when Doom guys
Dude,
speak,
that
it was
is-
like a
cool.
whoa.
That's-
It was like whoa.
You can ask him. He walked in there.
Kenny goes,
and
oh my god.
That was the coolest part. That's one of the coolest moments in I think the past 3 games.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot of those moments sprinkled in.
Mhm.
But I do think the gameplay does kind of get monotonous at points where I'm just kind of like, all right, I
That's what
kind
I'm
of do
saying.
want to get through this and just finish it. Like I feel like the last chapter, for example.
Yeah.
I feel like the second to last chapter felt like a good like, all right, bam, I beat the game. Like let's go.
Yeah.
And then there's another chapter and you're like, all right, go fight that guy again. I'm like, I just fought him. Like
Mhm.
why am I fighting him again? And it's just like I think there's some times where they outstay their welcome a little bit, especially with the story, and the story's not even that good. So it's just like I don't really care about this. I missed the freaking ship, man. Can I get back on the ship?
Yeah.
And like walk around
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That's what I love about Doom Eternal. Like I was like,
You had
ooh, let me go back to that hub ship, and I'm like walking around. There's like all this
Mhm.
stuff. Like, oh man, it's so cool.
Yeah, but with those last few boss fights, you were talking about how you thought it was so cool just like throwing your shield out. I'm gonna be so honest. I sat there, parried everything, and I'm gonna clarify. I did turn up
you can
turn
turn-
down
you
the
can turn
parry
it down.
timing to make it fairly difficult, but I still parried everything, and barrel stuffed him with the super shotgun the entire time.
For like 15 minutes.
yeah, no, like there was nothing stopping me from just parrying everything.
That is not the whole game, Canaan.
It-
It's
it-
most of the
it's
game.
most of the game.
most of the game.
and it's just like the way they've shifted from a movement style of gameplay to a more defensive parry style. You can't utilize the most of your kit because you're having to sit still and wait for these parry windows when there's everything else going on. Like it's like it, and don't get me wrong, the parry is satisfying, but I don't think it works well in the context of Doom when every other game in the series has movement as its main focus, and that's what people come for. Even the original games, you're moving so fast, you're running through areas so quickly, and in this it takes a step back from that pace and just slows it down because every enemy, and even when you have multiple enemies throwing parry windows, you're just spamming the parry button over and
Left
over
bumper, left bumper,
and
left bumper,
over
left bumper, over and
until you get that 2-second breather to hit something, and it don't feel that satisfying, especially compared to Eternal, at least in my
I'm
opinion.
trying to play Doom, not Sekiro. Like, come on.
Exactly.
I do agree with that, and maybe also I've been on the parry ground recently. There's been a lot of games I've played this year
Yeah.
where there's just like a parry for everything.
I mean, parrying is cool
Yeah,
though.
sure. I mean, for example, especially we did not make a podcast on, but so far I'm pretty sure it is me, Chad, James, and
Braven.
Braven's game of the year right now.
Like
So,
it is.
Once I finish it, it may be mine. But
Once, yeah,
You need
they're
to
being
finish
lame.
it.
They haven't finished it yet.
once I finish Doom, I'm gonna play a little bit of Night Rain with
Of course,
the group,
Of course.
and then I'll probably play some
Okay.
Expedition.
But that might be what it is. That might be why I'm like, oh, a parry, cool. And then I'm like, oh, it's an easy parry. So I'm just like cruising through this game.
Yeah.
I don't think I legitimately died once.
Actually, I did encounter one bug and made me die quite a few times, and it has to do with the weapon wheel actually.
Oh no.
Oh,
Because in one of the
Got
missions,
shaken weapon wheel.
there's a glitch in the game where you can phase yourself through walls because when you go into the weapon wheel menu, it holds your momentum and it keeps constant momentum. So you can phase through doors that you're not supposed to get through. But I had to use that glitch to finish a section of the game because the doors glitched shut and I couldn't get through them any other way. And so there were enemies in the area that I was trying to get to, but it takes so long because the momentum is so slow
yeah.
because you're in slow mo and it's like, okay, I just got to get in here with like 2 health and then just start blowing things up. And I actually had to do it. And once I did the objective, the doors opened and I was like, oh, you're fine now. But I
Yeah.
had to use that glitch to finish
I
that
did.
section of the game.
I also had a glitch. Yeah, when I was fighting the Komodo champion, he like smacked me down one time, and I was like, boop, through.
I had
was
that
like-
same
I was
glitch.
like, whoa.
Yeah, we fell
I, like,
through the
fell
map.
through the
What
map.
are you doing, man? Come on now.
And then I killed him. It was okay, but
I mean, it was kind of funny though.
it was kind of funny.
Bugs are bound.
Bro
to
hit me
happen.
so hard.
What?
I said bugs are bound to happen in Doom games. It's somewhere where you're moving that fast and then kind of
Yeah.
all
There's
over
so
the
much
place.
happening. on your
Yeah.
screen.
But it's kind of like in a half cutscene though, which is the insane part because like are you doing an execution or are you getting hit? I can't quite remember.
Well, for me, he just hit me, and it just phased through, and I was still fighting him after I got out of it. I don't know. It was weird.
Interesting.
I swear it was like one of those execution style things where like it focuses in the camera. I think it was one of those moments. I could be wrong, but I mean either way, I still fell through the map at one point.
I never had a bug in this game. I mean, to each their own. Maybe that's why I
Yeah.
liked it the most of everyone.
Well, I mean the bugs, I don't really, I don't mind.
Unless
I think it's
like,
funny,
egregious.
but it wasn't egregious. It's just one of those things. It happened. I know some people
It's
are
a
really
game, it's
hard
gonna
on it.
happen.
Well,
It happens.
It's also a Bethesda game, so
Sure, that was a good publisher.
Mm-hmm.
you know what Todd Howard says. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Todd Howard. I love that bit. Have y'all seen that bit? I think it was IGN like years ago.
Yeah.
They had this guy who imitated Todd Howard. Who doesn't talk like Todd Howard at all.
Mhm.
But they couldn't get him to give them any like reports on Fallout 4 at the time.
Mhm.
So his whole bit was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing it again. We're doing another game, Fallout 3.1 or whatever." And he would never announce like Fallout 4, and that's how he talked the whole time. It was just some guy going like this. My name's Todd Howard, and blah blah. Blah. It was really really funny. Maybe some people out there know what I'm talking about. It might have not been IGN. It might have been somewhere else. But anyways, get back on topic. Back on topic here. I think we have all given our. I still love this game. I'm a little bit higher than these guys are, but we're about to learn how much higher I am when I go around and ask for scores. Now, people who haven't finished the game, you don't have to give a score right now if you don't want to, but you can. If you're like, I feel pretty confident about where this game's going and what my feelings are, you can give a score if you want.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Canaan, who's played the least.
Okay, so from what I've played, it's currently just really mid for me. And from what I've heard y'all talking about, some of the last chapters doesn't get much better. So I feel pretty confident in my score. It's gonna be probably 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Okay. Okay. Ethan,
Still enjoying.
how are you feeling?
I don't know. Some of what y'all were talking about, I've noticed it, but it's like maybe I'm just having too much fun. I'm giving it like a 4 out of 5, just because I'm enjoying it, and I mean, sure, there's some stuff where I'm like. Also, I did turn down the difficulty trying to grind it out, and I've just been coasting through it. So maybe
That might be what it is.
That may be
I'm
part of
I'm
it.
honestly having more fun on the lower difficulty.
I mean, I played on Hurt Me Plenty. What did y'all play on? That's
I-
like normal.
I had it.
I played on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tweaked it a little bit, so I had it a little bit more difficult. So it's kind of like closer to ultraviolence, but still hurt me plenty a little bit.
Okay.
I had it on Hurt Me Plenty, and
That's
then
probably why.
I just turned
I'm
it
gonna
down
lie.
to aspiring. Listen, I'm trying to get through. I was trying to
That's
get through
okay.
it by
That's
today.
okay.
But
Still didn't do it
4 out of 5.
though. Oh no, he unplugged his mic.
No,
Plug back in. If you just heard like a big spike,
we
that's
do
why.
apologize.
We apologize for anyone wearing headphones.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear him? Okay, good. James, out of 5. You're one who's finished it, so yours is the most like legitimate. Well,
I'd say it's a 3.5, and the only thing that really makes it better than just very mid is the fact that the upgrade system is fairly satisfying, and going through those aspects, there is potential to have a whole lot of fun in this game. And again, it is a Doom game, so if you like the previous 2 modern Doom games, then there's a lot to like about this game. But the aspects about the mechanics, just it really takes away when what I'm looking for is something more fast-paced and something a bit more thematic of dark agey than what we got. It's not bad, but it definitely lacking in the aspects I really wanted in a modern Doom.
I said earlier that this is on the same level as all the other ones that I've played, which is 2016 and Eternal is the only ones I haven't played any of the old ones. And that would mean that this is a 4.5 out of 5 for me. I think a lot of the issues I have with it are minor enough to where at the beginning of the game I'm like, I'm kind of coasting along, whatever. This game continues, I think, to ramp up for me when I start to get the combat more and I start to get, oh, this is the direction they wanted me to do. Because at the beginning of the game, I played Eternal the day before this came out. I finished it for the first time. So I'm in my Eternal brain being like, I'm going to move around. I'm going to dash. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go jump. And this game is not that. And whenever I learned, I was like, all right, they want me to play this the way that they... It was the same thing we saw with IGN say about Night Rain, where they were like, if you play this game the way that the game wants you to, it's great. But when you try to do something a little more outside of the box, you try to play your own way, that's where it kind of falters in some areas. I think that's where Doom the dark areas.
There it is, yeah.
That's great. A little bit of promiscuous Doom guy.
Doom in the shadows.
the Dark Ages. I think that's where it starts to falter. Is where you have for so long incorporated this gameplay of run and gun, rip and tear,
Rip
right?
and tear
That's-
until it is finished.
and that's all, and that's what you do in this game. I think one of the big negatives from Eternal, quote unquote, was, at least for me at the beginning until I got the combat again. I think Doom is one of those games where if everyone they come out with is like, hey, the combat's a little different this time, you kind of have to figure it out a little bit. If they keep doing that, I'm gonna be like, okay, like at least I'm not just going in there just being like bam, 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 and that's
Same
it.
thing.
Over and over and over again. I think Doom Eternal did the same thing where it was like, all right, this one is way more movement based. You have to switch your guns a lot for different demons to attack them a different way. And at first I was like, all right, this is a little much. Like I just want to shoot stuff. By the end of the game, though, I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta switch this weapon. Oh my gosh, this guy's there. Holy crap, I gotta run around and get this weapon. All this other stuff, which is way more fun. And in this, it was the same thing of like, oh, this is way slower. Okay, how do I play this in a way that is rewarding for me? And I figured it out, I think, by the end of it. And I was like, all right, I'm finally enjoying this. Granted, the mech and dragon stuff still sucks for me, but at the end of the day, I think this is a great game still. I think it's very fun. It's very polished. I know y'all had some bugs and stuff. I never experienced that.
I think
it looks great. The score is great. It's not Mick Gordon, but I think it's still good. And yeah, I just think this is just another great example of modern Doom and how they keep ramping up.
I think our
gameplay.
glitches that we had were like one in
Yeah,
a million.
they were extremely minor, and I don't think, especially the one with the weapon wheel where I had to go through that door. I think that is just like that is like such a one-off thing, and even then, like where I was at in the mission, I totally could have just reset the mission and just played for another 10 minutes, but I didn't want to leave that mission at all, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it done. Here we go. Let's try this glitch out, and
okay,
had to get it done. So,
any more thoughts on Doom: The Dark Ages? What do we think? Do we want another Doom game? Do we still want? Is Doom? Still
listen,
something?
I'm gonna play Doom games until they stop making Doom
Yeah.
games.
I agree.
Okay.
But personally, I like the movement of Eternal. Maybe it's just me because I played Dex characters in Elden Ring and Dark Souls. I play fast-paced shooters like Titanfall 2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like the fast-paced run and gun type
Yeah.
feel of the other game. I didn't like the shield stuff, so I guess that's that.
Yeah.
That's
I
That
think
much
you want different stuff out of the gameplay,
That-
and if you vibe with it, you vibe with it. If you don't, you don't.
I really agree with you what you said though about if they continue this trend of like switching up the combat for each one, I think it could be very
Man, next one
rewarding.
have like a lightsaber or something. You know? Good.
chill.
The next time,
Dog, chill.
Hey, ID, if you do that next game, I know what you watched. You watched this podcast.
Yeah.
the next time you got like you're fighting like they do in Kingdom Hearts, like
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, gosh, that'd be insane.
turn-based next time.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
no, yeah. Tower defense game? Hey, maybe.
RTS.
No.
MMORPG. All right. Well, if that's all the thoughts we have
Yeah.
on Doom, then that finishes this podcast. If you like that, you should subscribe and like, comment, all that good stuff. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, follow and like for more. Rate us 5 stars. This podcast is coming out alongside The Last of Us Season 2 review with me, Ethan, and Canaan. We are very excited to talk about that. And then on Sunday night, we will come out with our SGF predictions.
Yeah.
What we think's
predictions.
going to happen, who we think's going to be there, what game's going to get announced, what's Jeff Keighley going to go up there and say. We're going to try and guess it all on Sunday.
We're hoping for the best.
We're
It's
hoping
looking
for the
good.
best. We're hoping
It's
for the
looking
best.
good.
Dylan's hoping to go to Disney.
I am hoping to go to Disney, and more on that on Sunday. I promise. And we also have some stuff down the line with some movies and games and stuff like that coming out. Death Stranding 2, me, Kanan, and Braven. And we got stuff like Superman in July. and
Fantastic.
I'm talking about this month. Hey, we gotta keep it down.
Oh,
this
my
month.
bad. I'm sorry.
June.
Hey.
We got 28 years later. We got 28 years later.
That's me and you and
Me-
Kanan possibly.
me- Off the top of my head, but that is happening.
I was gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Night Rain podcast
Yep.
should be 2 weeks from now.
Mhm,
We're talking
mhm.
about Night Rain a little bit. We should have a bazillion hours in that game by the time.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
And yeah, so if you want to see that, subscribe, hit the little bell, and you'll get notified whenever we upload, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm like just I don't
Did
know.
you
Is it
gas?
indigestion? I guess. I don't know.
I-
Anyways, that's it. I love you guys, but you have to say it back.